I'm Devesh Lathi. I'm the program manager at the NextGenius Foundation. I'm so sorry for joining this session a little late. I apologize and thank you for waiting here. Thank you for joining the session today. In today's session, I'm going to share with you about the scholarships for undergraduate education in the US. And while we talk about that, I'm also going to tell you about the various programs, various opportunities that are available for students to pursue their undergraduate education in the US on full scholarships, on partial scholarships, and other funding opportunities for them. So without any further ado, moving on. So as we talk about the scholarships, the first thing that we need to understand is the different kinds of educational institutions in the US, right? So there are various different kinds of education institutions in the US, and while I'm talking about it, let me just share with you that I'm going to be focusing particularly on graduate education. So the main focus of my today's webinar is undergraduate education, that is students who wish to pursue their education in the US after their grade 12, right? So when we talk about that, there are 4 to 5 different kinds of colleges and universities that are available to the students to pursue their studies. The first one is called liberal arts colleges. So liberal arts colleges might confuse a lot of people, and they might think that liberal arts has got something to do with arts. It's not like that. Liberal arts colleges are not just specifically related to arts or arts related subjects only. Liberal arts is a kind of educational philosophy where the mode of teaching, the mode of education is much more liberal. And when I say it's much more liberal, it's basically much more flexible. You have an option, you have an opportunity to build your own curriculum, you have an opportunity to decide what you would like to study. Liberal arts colleges offer everything ranging from humanities, computer science, maths, design, and some liberal arts colleges even offer engineering. So liberal arts is just a style of teaching. It's not like liberal arts colleges are only teaching arts related subjects. It's not like that. The thing about liberal arts colleges that makes them special, that makes them better than other kind of colleges for undergraduate students is that their main focus is undergraduate studies. When I say that, it basically means that as compared to other larger universities, a liberal arts college is focused completely on the development, the wholesome development of an undergraduate student. And that's why the fees, usually when we talk about fees, again, the fee structure of liberal arts colleges will be a little bit on the higher side as compared to public universities. So typically, a liberal arts college, a top liberal arts college in the US would charge around $50,000 tuition fee per year, and that is above and beyond the $15,000 living expenses that you need to pay. So right now I'm talking about what's the tuition fee without any scholarship. So that's 50,000 plus 15,000. So that's roughly $65,000 is what you need to pay at a liberal arts college. The second kind of college are public and private universities. So public and private universities, I'm just going to combine them and speak about them together, and then I'll briefly differentiate between what public and private universities are. So these universities are larger universities, huge colleges, which are focused not just on undergraduate education, like liberal arts colleges. They have postgraduate students, they have PhD students, they have postdoctoral students. They have separate different kinds of researches going on. So the resources that are available at a public or a private university are not just meant for an undergraduate student. They are available for everyone. In liberal arts college, all resources are dedicated towards the undergraduate students, which is not the case at bigger public or private universities. Name a few liberal arts colleges. There is Union College in New York State. There is Pomona College. There is Beloit College, Wheaton College in Massachusetts. Some public and private universities, of course, you might have all heard the name of Harvard, Stanford, University of Pennsylvania, UCLA's, UC Berkeley, all the popular colleges that you might be aware of. These are called public and private universities, right? So the difference between a liberal arts college and a public private university is that the resources at liberal arts colleges are specific and available to undergraduate students. Everything, all the resources are dedicated for the development of an undergraduate students, and that's what makes liberal arts colleges a very special option for undergraduate students. A public or a private university, all the resources are available to different kinds of audiences, and there might be some resources which are not available to undergraduate students. There might be some labs, some funds, some grants which are not available to undergraduate students. Now, while I'm talking about public and private universities, let me differentiate between the public universities and the private universities. The public universities are the universities which are run by the state government of that specific state, like Mississippi State University, Arizona State University. Whereas a private university is any college, again, like Harvard, Stanford, Princeton, Yale, MIT. These are all private universities. The difference, there is a slight difference between the fee structure of these universities for students from India. We are called international students there. So the difference is, for public universities, the fees of students who are from that specific state, like students from the state of Mississippi in the USA, or the state of from New York in the US, the fees for them will be very low. Whereas fees for students who are not from that state or from abroad, like us, like Indian students, the fees will be somewhere around $30,000 to $35,000. In private universities, the fees will be again close to $55,000, right? And right now, I'm only talking about public and private universities in the US for undergraduate education. The living expenses again at both these kinds of colleges will be $10,000 to $15,000 per year. That's about public and private universities. And there is something called as community colleges. So we talked about liberal arts colleges, we talked about public and private universities. What's this community college? The community college is a kind of college which is a 2-year college. So all degrees in the US, all the Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science degrees in the US are 4-year degrees. But a community college prepares a student for an associate degree, which is a 2-year program, after which students can either start working, start doing jobs, and then maybe complete their bachelor's a little later, or they can transfer to another college to get their bachelor's degree, right? So in the 2 years at the community college, a student gets an Associate of Arts, that is a AA, or Associate of Science, that is a AS degree. Community colleges in general are not very popular in India. Not many Indian students are aware of this option. But the best thing, the greatest thing about a community college is the fees structure at a community college is very low. Average annual tuition fee is just about $6,000, $7,000. It's at a very low price, right? And that's what makes community colleges very attractive to students. Um, this concept of community college of doing associate degree for 2 years and then transferring to another college for another 2 years to complete your bachelor degree has not taken, is not very popular right now in India. But I personally feel this is a great chance for someone who don't want to doesn't want to spend a lot of money during the undergraduate education, they can sort of do 2 years, the first 2 years, the first and second year at a community college, and the third and fourth year at another college. And then ultimately they can transfer to, let's say, UCLA, and then finally get a degree from UCLA. Right? That's what a community college is. Example of a community college is a Foothill and De Anza College. De Anza College is a college which from where Steve Jobs graduated. That's why it's a popular one. So that's community colleges for you. And there is a final kind of colleges called the specialist schools. Specialist schools are schools which are which specialize in a certain field, like design or culinary arts or hotel management. So there are a lot of different kinds of specialist schools in the US which are focused on very specific kind of majors. And again, these are 4-year colleges, and they have different requirements. Their application process is a little different than the other colleges. So right now we just talked about the different kinds of colleges, different kinds of higher education institutions in the US. Next topic that I want to take with all of you is, why do students prefer going to the US? What makes US attractive to students from India or international students, students from across the world? The first thing is, US education system is much more evolved than anywhere else in the world. Any other college in the world has learned the skills, has sort of followed the trends from the US. Of course, there are colleges which started even before the US colleges and universities, but the colleges in US started 100, 200, 300 years ago. These are really old institutions and have evolved over the years, and that's why they continue running. Because I don't think you can name any corporation, any company which is 300-year old. There are colleges in the US which are 300-year old, and they have sort of kept pace with the growth of technology, kept pace with the world, and that's why they are still progressing and improving every day, every year. They are the most advanced institutions. They are the most advanced educational institutions. US education system is the most advanced system in the world. That's what students understand, that's what families understand, and that's why they prefer US over any other college. The second thing which makes US popular among students is the flexibility of academics. So in India, once you join a college, you have to stick to the major, or you have to stick to the field that you have enrolled for. When I started college, I decided that I'll do engineering, and in the end, after first year, there was no option for me to change my field. I was stuck there, and that's the case in UK also, where if you started a major, you have to stick to it across. You have to graduate from that. That's not the case in the US. In US, when you start a major, you get a chance to explore it. You get a chance to sort of decide whether you want to continue pursuing that particular major, or you want to sort of change a major and try something else. And that's a flexibility which is available only in the US. And that's what students like about this education system. The third thing is opportunities which are provided by the colleges, the education in the US. So name a top company of the world. All of them, huge majority of companies of the world have originated from the US. Google, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Ford, Harley Davidson, Boeing, many companies, Citibank, Morgan Stanley, a huge amount of companies, a huge number of companies which are out there, which are successful, have origin in the US. And that reflects the fact that there are lots of jobs and opportunities for students in the US. Anyone who pursues their undergraduate in the US gets a chance to sort of work at an American company, right? That's not the case with a lot of other countries like Canada, Australia, um, Germany, because of course there are some typical companies which have originated from these countries as well. But a major chunk of the top 500 companies, the Fortune 500 companies, are from the US. And not just that, US has an environment which is very much conducive of growth. Uh, if you go there, you'll get lots of opportunities to develop yourself, to build yourself, to start your own business, to become an entrepreneur, to start working as a team member, as an employee at a top company and learn from there. So US education provides a lot of opportunities for students to grow and become a world citizen. So that's the reason why students prefer going to the US. So moving on, let me talk to you about the scholarships, about the cost of education in the US. So we just saw that the amount required to study in the US is roughly $65,000. So without a scholarship, without gaining any scholarship, you would end up paying roughly 45 lakh rupees per year. That's a huge amount. If someone gets a partial scholarship of, let's say, $30,000, they would still have to pay roughly $35,000 per year, which is about 25 lakh rupees. Finally, if there is someone who has won a full tuition scholarship in the US, they would still need to pay about $15,000. That's about 8 to 11 lakh rupees per year. So that's the cost of education in the US. I just wanted to show you how much you will need to pay, how much you'll end up paying when you pursue your undergraduate education in the US. Without a scholarship, you'll have to pay roughly 45 lakh rupees. With a partial scholarship of $30,000 per year, that's just the number that I've taken. With a partial scholarship of $30,000 per year, you'll end up paying roughly 25 lakh rupees per year. If you go to the US on a full tuition scholarship, you'll still have to pay about 8 to 10 lakh rupees per year towards the living expenses. Moving on, let me take you through the different kinds of fundings and scholarships that are available at the colleges. The first one is merit-based scholarships and grants. So what merit means, how good are your academics, how good are your extracurricular activities, and on the basis of that, scholarships are offered at the colleges. So if you have amazing academics at school, if you have got great score in your SAT exams, in your ACT exams, or in your subject SATs or AP exams, colleges consider you for merit-based scholarships. You will be eligible to win a merit-based scholarship on the basis of your academics, on the basis of your grade 9, 10th, 11th, and 12th. All these scores are taken into account when the colleges are offering merit-based scholarships. Your scores, extracurricular activities, your test scores, recommendation letters provided by your counselors, all these factors, your portfolio and resume, of course, all these factors contribute to merit-based scholarships that is offered by a college. A lot of colleges offer merit-based scholarship. The second kind of scholarship that is available for students is need-based financial aid. So what need-based financial aid means is, if a student is from a background where they cannot afford the tuition fee, or they cannot afford they don't have a lot of money, they will be provided need-based aid, need-based financial aid from the colleges. If the college likes your profile, if the college decides to admit you, you will be eligible for need-based aid. Need-based aid means on the basis of how much amount you need, financial aid will be offered by the college. So again, some colleges say that we meet 100% need. When they say they meet 100% need, it means that whatever need a student might have, if a college accepts that student's application, they will fulfill the whole need. If a student says that I can only pay $5,000 per year, a college which offers or which says that they'll meet full need, they will cover up the whole amount which is missing or which a student cannot uh, provide, student's family cannot provide from their side. That's need-based aid. Again, not all colleges say that they'll meet full need. Some colleges meet full need, some colleges don't meet full need. Right? Then another kind of scholarship is athletic scholarships. Athletic scholarships are provided to students who are athletes or are good at certain sports. So typically, universities which are NCA Division One, universities which take sports very seriously. Not all universities take sports seriously. For some universities, sports is just an extracurricular activity. But for a lot of universities, athletic scholarships are offered by certain universities and not offered by all the universities. Then another kind of aid, another kind of scholarship that is offered by colleges is federal aid. Now, federal aid means aid or scholarships or grants which are offered by the state government. This scholarship is available only for the students who are from that specific state. So Indian students are not eligible for this kind of aid. But if you hold a US passport, you will be eligible for federal aid as well. And finally, the fifth kind of scholarship which is available is called work study, or where you get a chance to actually work in the college, and on the basis of your work, some tuition fees is waived off. So that's called work study. Okay, apart from these things, there are also certain other funding options that are available for the students. The first one is on-campus jobs. So on-campus jobs are, there are lots of jobs which are available for students on campus, like working in the library, working as a teaching assistant, working as a research assistant, and with the help of on-campus jobs as well, you will be able to fund a certain portion of your tuition fees, a certain portion of your education. Again, this is not a huge amount that you can pay with the help of on-campus jobs, but if you work for, let's say, 6 to 8 hours per week or 10 hours per week, you'll roughly be able to earn $3,000 to $5,000 across the year, which can take care of your flights, of your books, of your pocket money. The second opportunity is working in summers. So again, students who go from India to the US on a scholarship, they work on campus during the summers, right? Because they understand that working in summers is a great chance for them. It helps them sort of earn a few $1,000s and put that money into your living expenses. The third opportunity, the third option is cheaper housing. So again, uh, living on campus is something which is quite expensive. It's roughly $15,000. So some students decide to live off campus, and where they make a small group and they sort of rent an apartment and they live there. So that is another way where you can bring down the cost of education slightly. And of course, the fourth option is education loans. So one amazing resource that we have is HDFC Credila, which offers great education loans to students from across India, and it's a very feasible option for students who need to fund their education abroad. So I encourage you to explore that option with HDFC Credila. So moving on. Let me tell you a little bit about the NextGenius Foundation. I'll just take 5 minutes for that. So the NextGenius Foundation offers scholarships for students from across India, and these scholarships are offered uh, for the undergraduate education in the US. NextGenius works with grade 12 students. So students who are in grade 12 right now are eligible for the NextGenius scholarships, and they have a chance of winning a full tuition scholarship for colleges in the US. How the scholarship program works? NextGenius scholarship program is an online portal. We have an online portal where you can apply for our scholarships. There is an apply now button. When you apply, we ask you to take an online test, which is an online critical thinking assessment. After you take the test, we profile you. We try to understand your background, your academic profile, your family background, and we, with the help of that information, we allocate a certain college to you on the basis of your profile and your test scores. Now you are shortlisted for that specific college, and the next steps, we ask you to work on your college application and finally interview with us for a scholarship. So right now we are in the final stage. It's a full-fledged cycle across the year, and right now this year's cycle has closed. So anyone who is in grade 11 right now will be eligible to apply to us next year in May. That's a little bit about NextGenius Scholarship Program. I don't want to uh, I just want to talk a little bit about what we look for when we are identifying our scholars, uh, when we are searching these scholars from across India. So the two eligibility criteria is, first one is the student must be either in grade 12 or gap year. So all grade 12 students, all gap year students will be eligible to apply to us. Second thing is the student should either be an Indian citizen or studying at a school in India. So anyone who is studying at any school in India is eligible for NextGenius scholarships. What do we look for in our scholars? Well, we look for critical thinking skills, we look for problem solving skills, we look for personality, we look for personal vision. Like, why do you want to study in the US? When I say personal vision, we want to know, why do you want to study in the US? What do you want to study, right? We want to look at your confidence and charisma. So we conduct interviews, and that's where we get a chance to meet you, get a chance to learn more about your profile, learn more about your personality. We also take a look at your college fit. Now, what fit means? Fit is something where we try to understand how well will you do at a college for which you have been selected, or how well you will fit into a college. So college fit is a very important aspect of a NextGenius scholarship program. I would be happy to answer any questions related to college fit specifically. And finally, we also take a look at demonstrated interest. Now, what demonstrated interest means is how much are you interested in winning a scholarship? How keen are you in going to the specific college for which you have been shortlisted? So demonstrated interest is again something which we track. So NextGenius Foundation was started 5 years, actually 6 years ago, in 2014, 2015, and it's been a superb journey so far. We have helped uh, close to 120 students win a scholarship with us, and every year more and more students win a scholarship with us and go to the US to pursue their undergraduate education in the US. I encourage all of you to check out our website. I'll just type it down in the chat box, and I'll also mention my email ID so that you can reach out to me if there are any questions that you would like to ask regarding scholarships, regarding education abroad, regarding college applications. I would be very happy to help you. With that, I'm coming towards the end of my presentation, and we have roughly 15 to 20 minutes for any questions. I would be happy to answer any questions that you have. So before I stop, I would just like to thank HDFC Credila for providing us this opportunity and for inviting us for this session. And I apologize once again for joining in late. I'm sorry. And with that, thank you, Shraddha, and thank you, HDFC Credila team. You're doing a great job by hosting informative and educational webinars like this. A lot of students out there don't have access to this kind of information, and I hope with today's presentation I was able to help some of you. So thank you so much everyone for joining.